Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. I don't know if you just heard a little siren screaming by. Welcome to the sounds of New York. As we have our, natural sound cues going on outside. But how are you guys? Let me pull down this music for a second. I hope wherever you are doing fabulous. You are, whatever's going on in your life, you are having a grand old time. Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. I know I said hi to Lydia earlier, and I have, let's see, Karen and Sarah and Dory and let's see who else is here. That's us so far. Hello, my friends. I think that's all we have here so far. Hopefully other friends will be joining us. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I again apologize about yesterday having some issues with sound. As you can hear, our natural sound cues out there, sometimes they are extremely loud in this community. And so it's a little hard to get rid of that sound sometimes. But hopefully today all will be well. Hi, Sarah. Hello, hello. So, anyways, well, there has been so much going on, but as you know, this is we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, and the chickens. And we have got, so much stuff has been going on the last few days, especially with Prince Harry and the interviews and balcony nonsense with the British press, who are in literally right now the process of melting down. And it is craziness to watch them just melt down in real time. And it's just like, people, get a life. Really, literally, get a life. But anyways, so lots to happen. Just so you know, this podcast, because there's so much to talk about, because I wasn't able to do it yesterday, and I added some stuff. So this podcast, hi Church Nelly, welcome, welcome, welcome. This podcast will most likely go longer than an hour. So I know a lot of you guys go over to Baron at 1:00. Please feel free, jump on over. I will continue with the podcast so I finish it, and then you feel free to come back and watch the rest of it, on replay. It'll be there on replay again, If you need to jet off the Baron, go right ahead and I will join you after. But I'm going to continue with the podcast after 1 if it goes that long, if it goes past 1, and then you could come back and watch the rest of it. I know I won't feel, any kind of way. Just jump on over, because I know a lot of you definitely want to be over there watching Baron's podcast, and he will appreciate it. So there. And then you could come back and watch the rest of this. So anyways, so lots been happening. I don't know what you guys, there's been so much stuff with the Invictus Games again, with the interviews and all of those things. But it's so funny. One of the things that I keep trying to really focus on a lot is some of the themes and some of the images that have been so powerful at the Invictus Games. And is one of those things that I don't know. Well, I'll show you. One of those things is this. It says, at the Invictus Games at the Hague 2020, there is a yellow wall. And it says, a very important yellow wall is located at the Invictus Games Park to celebrate some very important people. And this is the yellow wall. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to DC and, have been to the Vietnam Wall. It is one of the most powerful things there. And again, I told you guys about doing the play A Piece of My Heart about women who served in Vietnam during the war. And one of the things I did when we went to the war was specifically to find the names of women who served in Vietnam, as nurses or donut dollies or librarians. And in the case of the character that I was playing, she was an Army intelligence officer. So when we went to the wall, we went specifically to find the names of those women who were killed in action. And it was just so powerful to be there and to realize it feels like forever. And you have all of these names upon names upon names. And to know that these people were there, these are human beings whose life were no longer here, and their names, and it's just the most powerful and humbling experience. And that's when I thought of when I saw this wall. And the difference with this wall and what makes it so interesting is that it says, with the names of all, the wall has all the names of the competitors right now. And it also includes the family and friends who support them. And what is so amazing about this is, like, the Vietnam Wall was to honor the dead, and this wall, this yellow wall, is to honor the living, those who are here right now, and also those who are there to support them. I think that was so important, because one of the things with Invictus Games that it's been stressing is the importance of the people that are there supporting them, because without family and friends, a lot of vets would not make it, and even with that, it's so difficult. So I just thought that was just so incredibly powerful. And Jessica, I saw Jessica said something about the wall. Let's see what Jessica said. Jessica says, Vietnam War Memorial, every May 30th, veterans come there and weep. It is a place, I'm telling you, if you've never gone and right in the same area is the memorial to the women who served in Vietnam as well. It is just the most humbling and powerful sight. So I could just imagine, especially the American soldiers who would know, the soldiers from other countries may not know about. They may or may not know about the wall in DC, but especially to American soldiers, this would really resonate with them. And then, to see the difference in this one, where instead of honoring the dead, this wall is honoring the living. And yeah, it just, I could imagine veterans at the Veterans Memorial, and this wall just standing there, seeing their names and the names of their family, and what this must mean to their families also, that they are recognized in this way. And it's just, I'm like, I don't know about y'all, but I am not, as long as the Lord keep me alive, I will not be missing the next Invictus Games. This is amazing. And I'm like, I have to be there. I am going to be a reporter, and I'm going to be there. So I don't know, maybe some of us in this community could be like, yes, let's go there and meet up. I know a lot of squaddies this time are there, and they have been great, reporting really great stuff, and lots of pictures that we got was from squaddies. We didn't really need the British press at all. It's from a lot of squaddies that's been posting, and other people posting, and the Invictus Games posting, where we got most of the stuff that we have. So I just think it's amazing. And so moving on, hello all our friends that just joined us. Let's see, Susie Q, B10 Power, V, Thomas, Bonnie, Perlina. Who else joined us? Wendy, Karen M. I think I said you already, Karen. Brenda, hello guys, welcome. I think I just saw Fancy. I think you're here. Donna is here as well. So welcome guys. So let's see, moving on, what we have. I'm telling you, one of the wonderful things about these games, let's just take out this. Thank you, Jessica. One of the wonderful things about this games was just to see the camaraderie of the teams. And again, it's not, yes, there's competition, but the camaraderie, the love, the support of the teams. And in this picture, Team Korea wanted to encourage Team Ukraine. So I don't know if you can, I hope you can see it clearly, but I'm not sure. But in between the two flags that are on the wall, the Korean flag and the Ukraine flag, is the word cheer up. I just thought that was so cute. And they all came together, and then they also presented Team Ukraine with a gift. They just wanted to cheer them up and, let them feel loved. And I just was like, You go. I just that was just so sweet, and just here they are together. To you probably can see the cheer up a little bit better in this photo, but it's just so wonderful to see them. Just I don't know what the gift was that they gave to Team Ukraine, but knowing Koreans, like some of my blood sister Seyang, who she was my roommate, and she's from Korea, but we think of each other as blood sisters. They give the best gifts, okay? Plus they cook the best food, but they give the best gifts. And so I can only imagine what wonderful thing they gave to the Ukraine team. So I just thought that was just so thoughtful and wonderful of them. And one of the things also with the games is it was not just the sports, is that, people are given an opportunity. They have, like, I would call them these breakout sessions where they can listen to people's stories, and and listen to and people get to share their stories, and about their journey through whatever their struggle is. And here was another case, Wendy the cop. She was saying, listening to the impressive, touching story of my dear buddy and hero Ishak Ronaldo, tremendous respect for his journey and his post-traumatic growth. And this is so important because, so many people have these incredible stories, and it also helps people to know, like, what, I'm not alone, and so it's wonderful that they have these breakout sessions while the, track and field are going on, the swimming and all of that stuff is going on. There are these breakout sessions that that could mean so much to athletes and families, to hear other people's journeys and be able to really be able to be encouraged and helped by that as well. And William Reynolds, I think I mentioned him before with his cute little son. He said, maybe a lot of things needing improving in the USA, but the rallying behind service members and veterans for support by orgs like Fisher House Foundation, Movement United Sports, WWP, to name a few, is unparalleled. And we are unparalleled at Invictus, at the Invictus Games. The cross country sharing at Invictus, or Invictus NL, is powerful. And I so agree, because I don't know if you guys are on Twitter a lot and you're following the games on Twitter. What he's talking about is just the support of all of these organizations for the veterans. I'm like constantly retweeting them. A lot of the things I retweet on Twitter are from these organizations or the Invictus Foundation. And just like most of the pictures and the stories and stuff is I'm getting from them, and they have been just lauding their athletes, and the support has been amazing. So he goes on to say, in a world where we fiercely explore and promote individuality, the quicker we realize we have more in common than different, we will be better off. A message driven home at the Invictus Games, like We Are Invictus, at its symposium, and embodied with families, thanks to the Fisher House Foundation. And again, this has been the message: family, 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 community, community, getting to know each other, knowing that we are one, that we have, we may be different in, maybe the country or whatever, community, whatever, but we have so much more in common. And, that's why I think that wall was also so important for the community of people to see, like, we are one. Even though we're maybe individuals, but we are one, and we have so much in common, more in common than we are different. And so I am just blown away, and just feel like, yes, what an incredible thing. And I understand, as one of our squaddies, is there, and I should have pulled up her tweet. I will do it for next episode. But she said, when the athletes leave the Invictus Games, they don't leave and literally go back to their homes. They go back to like a camp where they're basically meeting with a psychologist and a therapist and all of these people together to sort of wind down from the games. Because it's a huge fall when you are at these games and you're on this kind of high, And then when you go back home and all of a sudden you go back to reality, and you don't have that high. For a soldier and somebody who has PTSD and all of that stuff, that could be really dangerous. So when they go back home, wherever that is, they're going to go through like a program to help them to come down gently. And so that the shock of not having that community that's been there for a whole week wouldn't be as drastic, as if they just went home and went cold turkey back out into the world. And I thought that is so brilliant, because you don't want to do that to someone. You want to make sure that they gradually come down from that high, because they are on a high right now. So I just thought that was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. So I was like, oh, cool. And I'm going to get more information about that as well. So I just thought that was incredible. And our girl, Meghan, we had talked, and I'm sure, maybe Baron had talked about it yesterday, and maybe Duchess of Sussex. I'm assuming they talked about this yesterday, but I just thought this was so fantastic. As we talked about on this, I think last episode, that Meghan was here hanging out with the babies. And these pictures, UK and NL, they have been really supporting these teams. Even though the British press have been focused on drama, the organizations within UK that supports the athletes at the games have been doing an incredible job, including the UK embassy in the Netherlands and the ambassador. They have been all over this. It's been amazing, the job that they have done with promoting the athletes and promoting their stories. So, if you would just ignore the press and just, if you're on social media, I'm sure they're also on Instagram. I haven't been following them on Instagram because I haven't been on Instagram for a while, but Twitter, they have been really up on it. And so this is UKNL. And this was actually at the British Embassy tent that we saw Meghan coming out of. And I just thought it was so cute. These pictures of her and the kids. And the bottom right picture, actually, one of the soldiers, the vets, was saying that little girl that Meghan is painting with is his buddy's daughter. And so they're so excited about the whole thing, that she got to paint with Meghan. And so I just, and Meghan is back home with her family, and Harry, according to our interview, which we'll get to a second, he is excited to get home to his family as well. But I just, it's like, oh, these cute babies. I think my favorite one is Meghan holding the baby and the baby trying to eat his arm. I think it's a little boy, but it's just, I just thought it was just so adorable. So anyways, and here they, I forgot I had the bigger ones. Oh yes, yeah, they were. This one is my favorite, that little baby Meghan is holding. It's like, how cute. Babies are eating their hands. Oh, adorable. Oh, look at that. I'm telling you, it's so funny. It's like, I think this is the first time I'm really seeing, I don't know if maybe you guys have seen her. I think I've seen her with, I think Jessica's kids, but they were a little older. So I've never seen her with little babies like this. I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen a picture of her with little babies. So this is the first time I'm like seeing her like this. So I love it. And the fact that she's sitting on the ground, hanging with the babies, for story time. And I just, I just thought that was wonderful. So here she is. Here's the little girl that the veteran was saying that's his buddy's daughter that was painting with Meghan, and how special that is. And I love the fact that Meghan just rolled her sleeves up and just hang out with it's so wonderful. So it's funny, she has a little face painting on her face. Would have been funny to see Meghan with face painting too. That would have been cute. So anyway, on to Prince Harry. I mean, I guess you guys have seen this article. You have seen Prince Harry's and his interviews with People magazine, and also with with NBC Today show Hoda Kotb, who I usually give the side eye to because she's really shady. But first of all, this is And some of what Prince Harry says here is like really cool. He talks about, he says, life is full of extraordinary gifts and challenges. Many of that can be seen as lessons. The Duke of Sussex, 37, tells people in this week's exclusive cover story. Over time, I've learned that how we mentally approach and react to ups and downs, those gifts and challenges is what helps to define our outcome. And about being a dad, he says, being a dad certainly adds another emotional layer, says Harry. When I was in the army, I promised myself that I would be out before having a wife and kids because I couldn't imagine the heartache of being apart for so long during deployment, the risk of possibly getting injured, and the reality that my family's life could be changed forever if that happens. Every member of the Invictus community has experienced varying degrees of these things. I have tremendous respect for what they and their families sacrifice in the name of service. And I just, and that is like a really hard reality to come to terms with, the fact that all of these things is what these men and women have gone through. And it's so funny because when Meghan gave her speech at the opening, apparently there are some people in the UK who was criticizing Meghan for thanking the soldiers for their service. And apparently, and you guys, if you're Nutty Doctor, you guys are in the UK, I am just learning that that's not a thing you do in the UK. And I'm like, what? We're so used to in this country, if I see a service personnel, a military personnel, that's the first thing you want. We say thank you so much. There was a time when someone was like, maybe they don't want to hear us say thank you for your service, I don't know, but that's very common in the US to, when you see a soldier, to say thank you. And so she was being criticized, and I still don't even understand why you would criticize someone for saying thank you. But apparently how they do it in the UK is, you have, for example, the poppy service, and then they have the service at the when they lay the wreaths. Where is that place where they refuse to lay the wreath for Harry? I forgot the name of the place now. The cenotaph or something it's called. Those are the times that they honor. But for me, those are a lot of times those are honoring people who are dead. You know what I mean? How about just saying thank you to a soldier that you see right in front of you alive? And again, why that wall is so important is you're honoring people who are here. Yes, you honor the war dead, you honor them and for what their service, but how much more important to honor people who are here, who can hear us when we and say thank you. So and this is so important, and that Harry recognized. Well, of course he's going to recognize that in the name of service to our country, these men and women have sacrificed so much and have gone through so much, and not just them but their families as well. So, and then, which also brings me to how the UK, especially the press and a section of the public and their groomed trolls, the press's groomed trolls, how they treat Harry, a man who has spent 10 years in the military, 2 tours of duty, as Meghan so proudly talked about in the speech, and still continues to serve the military, how they could treat him the way they treat him. And I think it goes right back to that, not thanking people who serve. It's like, well, it's almost like, well, it's something you have to do, and not recognizing that, no, people literally put themselves there. They voluntarily go and serve their country and should be thanked. And it's that, for me, that ingratitude is what I see play out on a global stage in how they treat Prince Harry. And so, no disrespect for our, UK friends, but I think the UK culture is like, there's got to be a way where, you're thanking soldiers when they're alive and not just when they're dead, but I'm just saying, and maybe they do and I just don't know, but yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Let me see what you guys have to say about this. Let's see. Let's see. Adrian says that is why the British media tried to tarnish Invictus so they can blame Harry for the failure. Yeah, yeah. The thing about, yeah, it just, I don't, again, it's, I don't understand why you as a human being, forget about the media for a second, why you as a person would want to tarnish something that would help veterans. Again, that goes back to gratitude. If you are grateful for the service of men and women who've put their lives on the line to defend your freedom, to defend your country, if you are grateful for their service, you forget about what your company, whatever media, entity you're working for. Why would you as a person decide, yes, I'm going to do that? If you are grateful for the men and women and what they have offered you, the freedom that you have is because they fought for that freedom. And if you are grateful, you would never, ever do anything to tarnish and something like the Invictus Games or anything associated with the military. You would never think to do it. And I think it goes back to ingratitude. When you're not grateful, when you are feeling entitled and you feel like, they have to do it because whatever, never mind, you're not doing it, and when you're not grateful, this is exactly what you do. And this is the theme that I see coming out from just about every reporter who has been there criticizing, whether it's Harry or the Invictus Games or any of those things around it. That's the thing that I get, is the lack of gratitude. So, anyways, moving on. Then Harry went on to talk about, his relationship with Meghan and the first Invictus Games where we saw where they, where she was introduced to the world. He says, there is nowhere you can feel more embraced and supported than with the Invictus family, he says. The Toronto Games were our first time out and about publicly in an official way. We were dating at the time, so there's a lot to take in, but fortunately, we were with the perfect community for that. Now, 5 years later, here we are at The Hague at the 5th Invictus Games, and as parents of 2 and living in the US, I had always wanted to share these incredible moments with someone special. And to have Meg by my side means everything. And boo-hoo to those women who are jealous and expecting Harry to ditch Meghan and his family. Boo-hoo to you, first of all. But I just think it was so, and you think of the moments that Harry chose to introduce Meghan and the community that he chose and how deliberate he was, that it wasn't an accident that Toronto Invictus Games was where he introduced Meghan to the world. Because why? He knew how loving the community was, that they would embrace her, that they would love her and not be judging her and all of that stuff. He knew that. And that's why Meghan, I was like, wow, this wasn't just a thing like, oh, we're in Toronto, you're in Toronto. Then, okay, great. I didn't think in terms of this, that he thought about who the first people that he would introduce Meghan to and be for her to be a part of. And I was just like, wow, this is really Harry's people. There was an article that came out the other day that says, and I think I spoke about it in the last episode, that it says, Harry's among his people. These are his people. And that's why Meghan being there, and he talks about, he always wanted to share these incredible moments with someone special. And to have Meg by my side means everything. And I could just imagine, no wonder he was crying when, or at least got a little emotional when Meghan introduced him at the opening ceremony a few days ago. And I've seen things on Twitter where people are like, boy, if my girlfriend ever introduced me like that, and then I can't repeat some of the things they said they would be doing with their girlfriend, but you can imagine, but people are like, like, shoot, Meghan is the standard. One girl posted that her boyfriend is just, or her husband is like, well, why don't you ever talk about me like that with your friends? And she's like, well, we don't have that kind of stage. And he's like, well, you can do it when you're introducing me, So it's like Meghan is now the standard. People would be like, Meghan, oh, come on. Now husbands are going to expect me to be introducing them like that every time. But it was just so impactful the way how she really bigged up Harry, and look at the community that she chose to do it. And I was just like, oh, wow. All of it just fits together in such a perfect way. So I just think, wonderful, so yeah. And I'm like flipping through the chats and seeing what you guys are talking about. Let's see what y'all saying. Sarah says, does anyone believe Prince Harry met with Charles and Camilla in our next story when he went to see the grandmother? Most likely not. Going from what I've seen with their statement, etc., that most likely is British press speculating as usual. Even the Buckingham Palace had said what they're doing or saying is speculation. So most likely not. They hadn't mentioned it. So unless Harry and Meghan mention it, I'm going with a no on that. Donna says, the people of the UK seem so brainwashed about so many things because of the monarchy. They are, and they are being lied to on a daily. And it's like, in the US, you have the right-wing press and the Trumpers and the MAGA group. And it's the same thing, especially if, you have you want to believe a certain thing, you kind of will gravitate to the people who say the things that you want to believe. It's kind of one of those things. It's, sometimes it's just groupthink. Someone says something and you just want to believe it. And no matter if the truth could come and hit you over the head a million times, you just believe what they say. It's just one of those things. And people want to believe what the monarchy says, no matter how many times it's been proven that they lie, how many times it's been proven that they are not honest, how many times they've proven that they are corrupt. People want to believe that there is this family that is better than them, that is, this moral family. And it's like, they so want to believe the lie. And they wouldn't, no matter how the truth could hit them like a dumbbell over the head, and they will just walk away and turn to the lie. And it's just what it is. People gravitate to the things they want to gravitate to, I guess. So even if that thing is a lie. So, and here's Harry. And you remember last episode, we talked about pre-performance anxiety, how anxious Harry was. And I talked about how in the next few days, you will see a different Harry, the Harry that we all know, the fun-loving, relaxed. And this is exactly what we're seeing, because the weight of that speech and the opening is off. The anxiety is off, at least for a few days. You'll see it. Don't be surprised if you kind of start seeing something happen, the sort of the worried, anxious thing come back on Thursday or at least Friday morning before the games end, and because he's giving another speech there. And according to what he said to Hoda, and we'll get to Hoda's interview in a second, is that he's still working out what he's going to say. So don't be surprised if you see a little anxiousness and not as chippy Harry, because again, that's how performance anxiety sometimes manifests. But yeah, the last few days, Harry is here playing with the German team, playing some table tennis with the German team, being all excited, playing golf. They have like a golf simulator there, so he was trying that out. And the Netherlands golf, I guess that who put the simulated golf. And if you haven't played simulated golf, it's awesome. I used to work at a simulated golf place, and it was great to play Pebble Beach and all of those on the simulation. It is wonderful. And in the picture on the left, that is Harry with Team UK, and he has really been there supporting Team UK. Apparently their rugby coach weren't there, couldn't make the games, so Harry stepped in. And so that's Harry in the middle in the blue shirt, that little person in the blue shirt there kneeling down by the gentleman in the wheelchair. And so that's their wheelchair rugby. He was jumping in as, or at least they were joking that he was stepping in as a coach for their team. So Harry has been having a grand old time here. Is Harry with the US rugby team? He's like, yeah, go USA. And it is amazing what, to watch these players, play wheelchair rugby or sitting volleyball, which I'm addicted to, and all of these. It is amazing the things that you can do. And so it is just, I am so inspired by them. So Harry has been going around and making the rounds in the USA and Australia. I think the USA actually beat Australia. Or wait, I think I'm getting my sport wrong. Or Australia beat the US. I think that's what it was. But anyways, and then if you guys have seen videos of these things, it has been amazing. The support in the stands. I mean, the most enthusiastic. I'm telling you guys, everybody in this chat, we have got to make a deal. I don't know if we have to save, borrow, beg, whatever we need to do to get to the Invictus Games next, I think it's actually going to be next year. To get there, we need to go and just be, and then Harry went off and did, apart from that, went off and did a bunch of media. One of our squaddies, I'm telling you, our squaddies did a fantastic job. She's the one that took the picture of Harry walking to the media center, and the Dutch television also took a picture on the right of the same, because if you can see her picture, our squaddie, she was outside and she got the picture on the left with Harry in the middle and the guy in the orange, and then the Dutch television, they tweeted out this picture of of them in the front. And so our squaddies in the Netherlands, or at least traveled to the Netherlands for the games, have been amazing. Like, we literally did not need anything from the press, really, because their tweets and then the organization's tweets have been amazing. We could just do, if that's all we got, that was enough, because they were tweeting out anything you see on the news. So it's really amazing. And here, we talked about this the other day, that, it's like, oh, Hoda is there. She's going to do an interview. And of course, Hoda did the interview with Prince Harry. And one of the things, I mean, you guys, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. Apparently, what we saw this morning with the interview is some of it, and then NBC, they're piecemealing it out, of course, because they want all the ratings. So at 12 o'clock today, or at half an hour ago, if you went on their streaming site, I guess another part of the interview is going to be there, and then later on tonight, another part of the interview. So they are really milking this interview. And so right at this moment, if you went online and clicked on, if you were on Twitter and just type in Meghan and Harry, you'll see their press going. I mean, they are literally melting down. And what are they melting down about? Prince Harry talked about the Queen. Yes, his grandmother, his loving grandmother. He loves grandma. And in spite of what we think of her, Harry loves her. And it's like, okay, Harry, that's your grandma. You love grandma. And one of the things that, that this is the part that they're really melting down about, because Harry talked about, going there to make sure that she has the right people around her and that she is secure, or she's protected, is literally what he said. And that's the thing that they are literally going crazy about, because it's like, well, what does he mean? He has not been there. He doesn't live. Even when I actually, just before I came here, someone posted a clip, and something from one of the tabloids, and I think it's a Daily Mail, that they asked Boris Johnson about it, and Boris Johnson is like, well, what does he know? He's not here physically. Who is he to talk about it, or something like that, he says. So they decided they're going to their lying prime minister to get word about, why would Harry say that, he's making sure that the Queen is protected and that she has the right people around him. Notice, nobody is looking into if what Harry said is true, if somehow there is some form of way that the Queen is not protected. I.e., a few months ago, and And I literally saw it before I jumped on here, so I wasn't able to grab the clip, and I'll probably post it in our community page. The Telegraph did an article about Queen Betty when I don't know if you guys remember, there was a picture of Queen Betty coming out of, and I think it was Windsor Castle, with her coat buttoned in the wrong way, where it was lopsided. It was buttoned up and one side was hanging and the other side. And so the Telegraph article was something like, who is there watching over the Queen or something like that, because they were concerned that there was nobody there watching out for the Queen, because why would you allow the Queen to go outside? This woman has been impeccable as far as I know. I've never seen a hair out of place of the Queen head. Not that I paid a whole lot of attention to her, but the pictures that I've seen of the Queen, she's always been well put together. And then there was this thing where this queen had the buttons of her coat, and then she had her cane and then, the black marks on her leg, which I think is just, it's like elderly. So it's like, it looked like varicose veins or something, which happens when you're elderly. So, but it's just like, she just looked unkempt. And so there was literally an article questioning, is anybody in the palace taking care of her? So the very idea that the press could now be like, how could Harry say that, when their own Telegraph wrote and was concerned about the Queen's look, the way she looked. And everybody was like, wait a minute. Did they just let this woman just go out and nobody checked on her? And honestly, Harry knows, Harry even said in this interview, the Queen tells me things that she would never say to anyone else. And for all of us in the chat who has been commenting about Harry giving the Queen a burner phone, gang, and giving gang a boner phone. Yeah. The thing that they should be concerned about is that the Queen knew Harry was coming to town and told no one. Why would the Queen, if she trusted the people around her, if she, if there were people that she can trust with her safety and with the safety of, say, Harry and Meghan, why did no one at Buckingham Palace know that Prince Harry was coming into town, that he spent time with her, and nobody knew until Harry left town and said, yes, I met with Grandma? Why would the Queen? That is the question they need to ask themselves. Why would she do that and not trust to tell any of them? And how did Harry get that message to her that he was coming? There is a way that she is. And Harry said the Queen tells him things that she would tell no one. And as much as I am on him, because, it's like, she is just like the rest because she's the head of the monarchy, somehow I'm getting a feeling that Harry knows things, like he said, he knows things that she would tell him things. That was probably one of the reasons that Harry didn't lump her in with the rest, that he hasn't lumped her in with Prince Charles and William and the rest, that he has still maintained his love and respect for his grandmother. There's stuff happening, and Harry has been in this business. He knows this, he knows the media, and he knows exactly what he said. And I believe that he put that out there, and he's putting people in the palace on notice that I'm going to let the world know that all is not up with what is going on with my grandmother. He knew with his words, even though part of it felt like a throwaway, like he just, it's like a throwaway thing. Harry had to know that, again, he's been here doing this before he was born. The media has been on him. He had to know that every word he said that they will pick over. And my thing is, maybe he's pulling people in the palace on notice. Like, I know what is going on. So whatever it is, and whomever is doing what, Prince Harry is putting them on notice, And it just, I grew up with my grandmother. So even though I am not a Queen fan, elderly people, when it comes to elderly people and anything, as much as I'm not into her, as an elderly person, as a human being, I wouldn't want anything to happen to her. You know what I mean? Especially in that kind of, because at that age, it's like you're fragile as a baby. And so I'm like, and I think that's why, and they're all, upset. Like Harry's like, who are you to tell us? I mean, you live in Montecito in your $14 million mansion. You're not here. Who are you to be, saying that you're worried about her protection and all of that stuff? Y'all, Harry took his wife out of there so that she didn't die. He's the perfect person to know what is going on there. And that is what the people of the UK should be thinking of. Harry took his wife out of there. He pulled her out. And I believe if the queen wasn't the queen and she didn't, and she wasn't the queen and still, the head of state, if Harry had a chance, he would steal his grandma out of there to protect her. And I think that's the kind of person he is. He would do it. If she wasn't the queen and still the head of state, he would have probably put, I could see Harry doing some kind of ninja stuff and getting the queen out of there. I wouldn't honestly blame him. So, yeah. Oh, TCC Sun, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Adrian says the UK military knows what Harry's going through. They know about the Invictus. They still find ways military people stay as family, and Harry is a part of them. That is so true. Because there was a post, a veteran says, he says something to the effect of, I don't care what family he is. I don't care who his mother is. I don't care who his grandmother is. I don't care what his title is. Harry is a veteran. He served in the war. Therefore, he is one of us. And this was an elderly veteran. And it was just so wonderful. And we were all thanking him. And yes, it's so true. That's how they feel. Harry is one of them. And they don't care that he's from the royal family. He is one of them. He served. He's one of them. Let's see. Okay, try to say, let's see what's here. It is absurd and pitiful. A statistic show only Britain fought 18 wars before 1992. No other country has since 1946, excluding 4 other countries. Wow, that is a lot. That is a whole lot. There's a whole lot of thanks that need to be going around to military personnel in the UK and around. So let's see. Let's see what else is going on here. Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn, boys. How are you? Carolyn says, the people in the UK are living in denial and they're still expecting him to return to the firm to live. They will never let go. They can't imagine that Harry has left. Harry did say, and they're harping on because Harry did say, for now, he's living in the US, and then Hoda pressed them that if he thinks of the, Santa Barbara as home, and Harry did say yes. But yes, he did say for now so there's that little opening there that maybe somewhere down the road. He still owns the home in Frogmore. So, and again, England is his home. He says it before. He said it before. That's his home, So, yes, right now his home is in the US. That's the way he considers home. Because again, he said in, the interview that he's embraced, the people of Santa Barbara have embraced them, and they have a wonderful community there. And this is some of what Harry, had to say. Again, this is about the Queen, where he talks about, that she is in good form, that she is very, very funny, that she is, she said it was so nice to see her. She's in great form. And it says, according to the prince, he was able to share some laughs with the Queen over tea and alongside his wife, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. She also got a great sense of humor with me. And, there was this report of someone on Twitter was posting that Meghan wasn't a part of the conversation with the Queen. And, this debunked that lie. I think an hour after I saw that nonsense on Twitter, this came out where Harry was like, yeah, no, Meghan and I had tea with her, and it's just like, of course, and this is what he literally said. He says, I am just making sure that she is, protected and got the right people around her. He explained to Coda, home for me now is, for the time being in the States. And this is the for the time being is the part that the British press is hanging on to, that for the time being, which means for now I'm in the States, and later on I could maybe go back to UK, but it could be anywhere in the world. Maybe later on he wants to go to Africa, not necessarily the UK. So there you go. And then he went on to say, we've been welcomed with open arms, he told Coda, before noting that for now, he and his family have got a great community in Santa Barbara. And that is a thing, and that is a sad part of all of this, is that the US welcomed Harry in a way that, and it must really irk him that that he brought his wife there, and his country, his family especially, rejected her, abused her to the point where she wanted to kill herself. And now he has come to his wife's country, and we as a country embrace him, and obviously embrace her. She's one of us. But it is just like, are you serious? So it just, yeah. Nutty Doctor, thank you so much for your continued support. I really appreciate your support. And she says she's now moved 300 miles to Sandringham. Could she be purposely infected with the stuff? Elder abuse is possible. Anything is possible here. Yes, I saw a post, and yes, it was reported this morning that for her birthday, she is, and I guess it's tomorrow is her birthday. She's going to spend her birthday at the little simple cottage that Prince Philip lived for most of the time after he retired from being a senior royal, or working royal as they call it. And that's where he lived. And so I guess to feel close to him, that's where she is. And that's where she is going to spend her birthday. I don't know how long she's going to be there, but that's where she is. And it's so funny. I just had this thought in my head. What if Harry popped it over there? Maybe I should not just say this, let this out there. Never mind. You didn't hear anything. Never mind. Thank you. But yeah, that's what he is. Also, that could be a situation too, where he's thought, it could be he is referring to elder abuse. That is also possible. There is an article, and it's because it's a tabloid. I'm just like, I don't want to be using tabloids. But what they were quoting was Angela Kelly, who is the Queen's private secretary person who does her wardrobe. She has updated her book. And she wrote a book about the Queen, and apparently the Queen gave her permission, but permission in quotations. But she's updating her book, and one of the things she's updated her book and to include what life was like with the Queen in lockdown, and her being having to do the Queen's hair, and then the Queen, she said, like, the Queen was being demanding, and she then had to get like stiff drinks and all of that stuff. Who knows could happen when, stuff like that. Who knows what could be going on when you don't want to hear your boss. I mean, I'm not saying she did anything. I'm not saying, or implying that she has done anything, but she did write that and basically made the Queen out to be like a bully, because basically her literal words were, the Queen was shouting and giving her orders and all of those things. All of the things that they claim Meghan was, that's what she was claiming that the Queen was. But of course, nobody has said that anything, But, again, whenever these people, accuse you of anything, it's not usually the things that they're doing. That you've learned that very quickly with the royal family. When they accuse you, is because they're doing it. So who knows what's going on there. But anyways, moving on. And again, as I say in the beginning, this podcast is going to go longer than an hour. So, and again, I know a lot of you really want to also go listen to Baron. So please feel free to jump on over to Baron's at 1:00, because I'm sure his podcast is going to start at 1. Please feel free to go over. I'm going to keep going with this. And so you can come back and, get it, the rest of it on replay. Totally fine to do that, because yesterday I had to cancel, and so a lot more stuff happened, and so that's why this is as long as it is, because I wanted to include the stuff and the new stuff into it. So please feel free if you need to jump over at 1, okay, and then come back later on after Baron and you can hear the rest. Anyways, again, this is verbatim some of what Harry was saying. Because one of the things the British press was doing is, let me turn that off. Yep. One of the things that the British press has been doing is that they have been holding on to the, for the Harry saying, for now, for the time being, and they weren't really reporting that, Hoda, and so Sussex Squad podcast, thank you, Tina. She wrote out, transcribed what Harry said verbatim. And so that, when he said, for the time being, Hoda pressed them, and Hoda said, does it? When he said that, he feels like Santa Barbara is his home, and Hoda said, does it? And Harry says, yes, it feels that way. We've been welcomed with open arms. We've got such a great community in Santa Barbara. And Hoda says, so do you feel like that's more home to you now? And Harry says, yes. And so that's the part that the British press don't like to, they don't want to really camp on the fact that Harry said, yes, Santa Barbara is what feels like home now. Let's see what y'all saying in the chat. I want to incorporate that as well. Sash says, beat them. Oh, she's talking to beat them pals. Sorry. Sorry, Sash. It's obvious YouTube is abuse. And I'm putting this there. I'm sorry, Sash. Maybe I shouldn't have. Again, I don't have personally I've not seen any evidence per se of it, but again, we go back to that. The only thing I've seen is the coat thing, and then the putting out Queen Betty in these engagements where it's like, this woman needs to be in bed. She has COVID. Why are you saying she's going to be at this event and at that event and then have to cancel, or she goes and it's just like, leave the woman alone. She's 96 years old. Stop using her name, for whatever reason that you're doing. So, so again, other than those that I've seen, but there's definitely stuff happening in the background that, especially with those men in gray, who knows what they're doing there. So yeah. Claudia says, hi, and Meghan are still working royals. They're just no longer senior royals. Well, the way I like to explain this, it's a different way. They're senior royals. They just don't work for the firm. And someone on Twitter said they're actually royals who actually work, because the royals that are there, other than say Prince Charles and even his is like, let's do this 45-minute engagement things. Prince Charles work, but Prince Charles work for the charities that, like his charities, not outside charities. The most of the work that he does is the stuff that benefits his pet projects. That is most of what Prince Charles does. So when you see the court circular filled with all these things Prince Charles is doing, just know 90 or probably 95% of those things are Prince Charles working on his pet projects, not necessarily out charities outside. And so and that is the same for a lot of the royal family, the ones that they either set up or they are closest to, and usually the ones wherever they are, whether if it's in Kensington Palace or Windsor, wherever they are, when they do engagements, is they usually go to engagements in that area. So they don't really branch out to the the nether regions of the UK or England or whatever. It's usually some organization that right in the neighborhood. So 45 minutes later, they can jet back to their palaces. So, Dolores says, it's interesting that the Queen left Windsor after seeing Prince Harry. He voiced his concerns and she went to Sandringham. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, it could also be a coincidence because it's her birthday and, she wants to spend it in a quiet time and in time just remembering her husband, because again, she's 96 years old, and a lot of her friends, actually, when Prince Philip passed, a lot of her friends that she grew up with and been her friends for years and years and years, they have died recently. So she is, and that's the thing with, when you've lived these long lives, you lose a lot of friends. And so she has lost a lot. So I think, it could just be that she wants this time to just be a time of meditation with her friends. That could be the case as well, but it is very interesting that when Harry voiced his, that she, maybe she had this planned and she didn't know anything, who knows if she even know Harry did this interview. So yeah. Lydia, Church Nelly, I'm sorry. Harry and Meghan are not senior working. They're not working or senior royals. They are independent of the monarchy. I agree and disagree, George Nelly. They are. I agree that they are independent in the sense that, but they are still senior royals. They are still in the sense of the fact that Harry, is sixth in line to the throne. That is a senior royal position, but they're not working royals in the sense they don't work for the royal family. They are royals who actually work and actually do something. That's how I like to, describe them. But you're right, they are independent, but they are still, Harry is sixth in line to the throne. Archie is still seventh in line. Lilibet is eighth. So yeah, so they still have that. Let's see, moving on. And again, it's 1:00, guys. So if you need to jump over to Baron, please, feel free, and I will see you next time. And we'll continue with this. You could come on the replay and see this later after Baron. I'll join you over at Baron when I'm done with this. So yeah. So have fun, enjoy, say hello to Baron for me. And I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow, whoever has to run over and join Baron. But yeah, I'm just along with that interview, I'm just impressed with just, again, not having to rely on the British press for anything. Especially I know the Sun reporter is there and just trying to create all this drama. But to see ABC again, Bob Woodruff, CBS, we also saw NBC with the Today Show there. Harry has also done stuff with the Dutch television that we saw him with the guy in the orange suit. But it's just, I just think it's fantastic. Harry, he doesn't like the press, but in order to get these, put these athletes and really get the world to know, apart from the documentary they're shooting, he's really, and every interview he's done, he has brought one of the vets with him, so that and from whatever country that vet is from. If he's talking to a Dutch person, he'll bring a Dutch athlete, an American. When he talked to Hoda, he brought an American athlete or an American vet with him, so that they can tell their stories. And I think that is fantastic. And one of the things, along with that, one of the things I love, our squatty reporters, again, have been amazing. Duchess Invictus has been amazing with reporting out. And one of the things she filmed and photographed were these yellow benches. And these yellow benches are, they are benches that they have put around the Invictus ground, so people can get together. As you can see, those two ladies get together and have a conversation. And I just think it's wonderful that they, again, the Invictus, whoever planned this, I mean, they thought of everything, and they have this, and the people could just go and talk and have conversations, whatever it is that they're going through on these yellow benches. And it's really cool because if you guys remember a piece of my, not a piece of my heart, I thinking a piece of my heart, my play, but the Me You Can See, the documentary Harry and Oprah did about mental health, the friendship bench was featured in there. And it's the same thing where in Zimbabwe, they have this friendship bench where people, and it's a very poor community. And so what they thought is, like, instead of bringing in expert from outside, someone from our community, and there's this in that community, a little mental health group. And they have this bench outside where people in the community, and this lady, she is so wonderful. They call her grandma. People from the community will just come to her and just talk to her. And she has helped, men and women to, one lady came to her and she was, she wanted to commit suicide. And, and this man, he was having a really hard time with being a father, and she helped him through. So she has helped so many people, and they come and they all sit at that friendship bench. And so when I saw the benches, I knew and I heard what it was about. This is what I thought of this from the Me You Can See. And it's so apropos that, Harry is a part of this, and it's the whole thing is tying in, And today, these pictures came out with Harry, team, the Dutch team and the Ukraine team, painting benches yellow. And I think that the yellow was for, I guess that for the Ukraine team because their team is yellow and blue. And here are pictures of Harry with the Dutch and Ukraine team painting the benches yellow. And this tweet was from one of our squaddies, and she said, it's one of the themes of this year's Invictus as a place for open conversation. And the city of Hague have now granted permission for this bench to stay yellow as a legacy piece. So the city of Hague, they're going to keep the benches yellow. And, hopefully people, keep using it as a place for just, come and sit and have a conversation with someone about whatever is going on in your heart and mind. And I just think that is just so amazing, guys. I have to go to the next Invictus Games because, it's so emotional to see those things. It's wonderful, And here's another squaddie who has been reporting out. She's the one that a couple of episodes ago, there are pictures of her and her friend meeting Prince Harry. And Prince Harry has met a few other squaddies as well. And so here she is with one of the basketball team members from the U.S., the wheelchair basketball. And so Peace Otero has been fantastic. So thank you, Peace Otero, for I'm telling you, we don't need the British press. Just go if you're on social media. Sussex Squad has been all over this, so wonderful. So anyways, as much as I love and, appreciate everything that's going on in Netherlands, we also have what's going on the other side of the pond. And I almost feel like, do I really even want to talk about them? I mean, what do you guys think? Should we talk about them in this episode, or should I just leave them off for another episode and just leave it off as with Harry? Let's do a poll. And if you want me to continue and we talk about Shutter Island, I will. But if you don't and you feel like, no, let's do Shutter Island and just leave it as it is Invictus, I will do that. Because I'm like, let's see. Patricia says, awesome, but thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. Lydia says, let's see, Lydia, what did you say? Lydia said, no, focus on the good only. Okay. Sistren says, no, thank you, Sistren. Let's see. Gabby says, the bench, yes, the bench, yes. Let's see, Michelle says, leave it at Invictus. Okay. Let's see. Susie, B10 Power. Oh, sorry. You're talking to Susie Q. Sorry. Susie Q says, no Shutter Island. Okay, I think we are going to end it here. We're just going to leave out Shutter Island for another episode because I feel the same. I'm like, with all this wonderful stuff at Invictus, do we really want to deal with Shutter Island right now? No. Maybe I'll do this in another episode where we deal with Shutter Island and their nonsense. Maybe I'll just do it and then drop it. Do it and just drop an episode instead of doing it on a live. Let's see. Church Nelly says, hell no. Okay, Church Nelly. So let me I'm going to pull this off of there. And yes. So no Shutter Island. Okay. Let's see. Adrian says, Shutter Island is irrelevant. Absolutely. Yes. Veronica says, hell no, pedal. Okay. I think you guys have won it. B10. Oh, Susie said, sorry. Sorry, Susie. You're talking to B10. Podcast just posted. Okay. I will, after this, I'll do a podcast on Shutter Island and just post it, and you guys will watch it if you want to. And yeah, let's see. Cookies and Cream. Cookies and Cream says, the racist British press have no one to blame but themselves. They could have had access to the Sussexes if they treated Meghan with respect and as a human being. Exactly. All they had to do. And the sad part of this is, there are other than the BBC, and the only reason I think Harry did an interview with the BBC was that his BFF GJ Chalmers is the one hosting the BBC broadcast, and that is probably the only reason that Harry said yes to doing an interview for a British press. And that is the thing that's so sad, because there are a lot of them that are in The Hague right now, and Harry does not even look at them, you know. And again, like I said, the the son is there trying to cause drama as usual. So it's just, yeah, it is really sad to know that that's what they have done, and they're the ones that has caused this. And Charlie said, no, no one wants their unhinged drama. And let's see, final ones. And then we run off to see Baron. Oh, let's see. See, one more, and then we run off. Let's see. Let's see what this says. Sheila says, Petal, there's Petal, these longtime confidants are some of the exploiters of the causes Harry concern. Oh, these are some of the exploiters that causes Harry concern about the right people being around her in her frailty. Some are gleaning for their books, others for position and titles. And this is so true. I mean, yeah, AK-47, Angela Kelly, has just updated her book because she's now making more money on the Queen. A lot of them, yes, they are, they are planning for Prince Charles, and Camilla, who, like I said in a few episodes ago, basically kicked the Queen out of her own Jubilee. So yeah, absolutely. And Harry said that for a reason, and I know Harry would have known that his words, would be picked up, and I believe he said it deliberately to put them on notice. Joyce, thank you oh my gosh, Joyce, thank you so much for your super sticker and your donation. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I really, really, really appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So yeah, it just, and let's see, our final comment. Sandringham is a huge estate from B10 Pal. Hi, B10 Pal. Sandringham is a huge estate that's lonely except for on holidays when the extended family members are there. Otherwise, it's a hideout, like what Andrew did when running from the press. Yeah, it is a hideout. Nobody's there. Christmas time, when they're there, and now it's just, and it's, I mean, yes, it was Prince Philip's place and his private place that he wanted to get away from the press and everything else. But, it's interesting that, and again, it's her husband, so I guess she wants to spend time with him. But yeah, it's a lonely place out there. So, who knows why she's out there. And, but again, in spite of, me not, again, I'm not into the Queen, but she is an elderly person. She's, you don't want anybody to be in a position where they're not treated as a human being and they're not treated with the respect and stuff that they deserve. And, you don't want that for anybody, and especially don't want it for someone who's elderly and is in a fragile position. So you definitely don't want that at all. Daryl Baron is on at. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Baron is on at 6:30 p.m. Ooh, he's not on at 1? Oh, I guess he changed his time. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the only one he's doing, because with the Invictus Games, a lot of stuff that is happening during the day, because now that I've been off Twitter for the last hour, I'm sure a lot of things has broken. So I would totally understand doing stuff later. One of the reasons I was trying to do it later as well, and yesterday got all messed up with the sound and stuff like that, was because of the stuff breaking in the UK, and then realizing like, oh, maybe I should do it later. So no 1:30. So Baron isn't there. Oh, sorry, Baron is not there. And let's see. C-Max says Baron is on at 1:30 according to my oh, now I don't know. I'm confused. Check your reminders for Baron. I don't know. So I don't know. It's either 1:30 or 6:30. I'm not sure, and I am not on with you guys, so I don't know what is happening there. So okay, Baron is either 1:30 or 6:30. Please check and make sure, because we don't want to miss Baron today. He is his wonderful self as usual. So yes, Oh, no 130 cement. Okay, no 130. Okay. Is okay. I'm confused. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Check your reminders and see what is going on there. Let's see what else is happening. Beverly, hi Beverly. Beverly says, if Meghan was not an employee, how could they accuse her of bullying the staff? It proves that they lied on Meghan. you know, of course, and there was an article recently about the Buckingham Palace trying to push this under the rug, and because they are afraid to make they're afraid to make any kind of accusations against Meghan because they're afraid of Meghan's lawyers. Well, if you have a case against Meghan, you shouldn't, and you know that whomever is telling the truth, they shouldn't be afraid of Meghan's lawyers. I mean, anything. If you're going to make a case or make a charge against anyone, you have to expect that their lawyers, whomever it is, going to come, going to demand some kind of evidence, which Meghan's team has been demanding since last year, since they made those charges, and they have yet to get anything from them. So, and apparently they've only, interviewed like 5 people. So, whatever is there. Let's see what else, maybe away from Shutter Island. Something about Invictus Games or something wonderful. Teresa says, Teresa's talking to Mashar. Okay, just so you know, I am eavesdropping, and I'm clicking and then I realizing that you're talking to someone, and Teresa speaking to Mashar. Sorry, Teresa. Wasn't Hoda saying that Harry brought every question back to focus on Invictus? You're right. Harry knows how to work the press like his mama. He does. I mean, hello, the press has been there since he was in the womb or before he was even thought of. You know what I mean? And yes, Hoda did say, she asked, and some people were saying they can't believe Hoda asked about his family. And I'm like, Hoda's a reporter. She actually missed some questions that I would have asked. If I were in her shoes, I would ask those same questions. For example, when he said about the Queen and her protection and making sure that she has the right people around her, I would press that issue. I would ask for clarification. I would ask, what do you mean? Please explain. Is there, is she in, is there elder abuse? Is there something? Is there a security issue? Is there, people are not looking out for her best interest? Like, I would have asked. So Hoda missed that because she jumped on the Queen, and Harry, their sense of humor. She jumped onto that and missed that question. As a reporter, I would have asked those questions. So yeah, and she did say yes, the questions that she was asking, and she even admitted that the reason Harry was there was to talk about Invictus, and she basically through the interview had to build a relationship with him and ask, because she didn't know when he was going to say, well, okay, enough, I am not going to talk about this. So she basically had to develop a relationship with Harry through that interview, and then one question building another, and she even one time she even said, can I ask you something personal, and he allowed it. So as a reporter, I think you can't be afraid to ask the question. The person could decide if they're going to not answer or answer. And in this case, there are some questions, for example, when she asked if he missed his family, he said, yeah, because of COVID and all of that stuff, you miss your family. Then which I love that she did, she went in, she said, do you miss your father and your brother? Harry in that totally switched it. He took a hard right or a hard left or whichever direction you want to say, and he just brought it right back to the Olympics. And he's like, what I'm really focused on is these guys here, making sure they have the greatest experience, and then I'm gonna go back to my family because I miss my family back in, is to mention, back in the US with Meghan, Archie, Lily. And he completely just like took a hard right or a hard left, whichever direction you want to say. When asked about William and Charles, he did not want to have anything to do with that. And that is very, very telling. They have done mess to Harry. And if you pay attention to anything in the British press, that's one of the things that they have been banking on. I saw an interview, one of our squaddy posted an interview with one of their royal reporters, and you could see the dejection. It's like the air just let out of the balloon when they realized, because they were banking on this olive branch bridge building, whatever nonsense article that they've all planned in advance, and then the way, should Harry come back? Is he gonna come back? Is he not? Is he gonna be on the balcony? Nonsense. So when Harry said, I don't even know if I'm going, if we're still doing about security, I don't know if I'm going, and when he refused to even say his father's name, he refused to even say dad, he refused to use his brother's name, it was just like all of a sudden all of those articles and all of the money they were going to make from those articles went out the window. And you could see it's like they're like flat tires right now, barking flat tires. Because all of their narratives have gone, like Harry just once again made fools of them, and that's why they hate him. Because who else in the royal family would just constantly make fools of them and not care and do it on a world stage? And he just did exactly that, So yeah, it just, Harry is just like, nope, not talking about you. I am going to focus right back on the on the Invictus Games. And that's the thing. And I think that's why he, in every interview, he brought an athlete with him, so that it's not just, he knows that they're going to ask him about the royal family. He knows that's why a lot of them want to talk to him, but he will not, he want to make sure that, that they are, that they are focused on the athletes. So let's see a few more. Now that we have all this time, just hang out with you. Let's see. Hang out with you guys a little bit longer. Let's see what you're saying. Let us see. Okay, so it looks like this is the latest information on Baron, 1:30 Eastern time. So should be in about 9 minutes, Baron. So yeah, so we'll be done before then. So Baron will be starting at 1:30 according to this stuff. Whether he's also doing one at 6:30, I do not know, but 1:30 for Baron. And we love us some Baron. Let's see, Estrella. Let's see. Oh, Estrella, you are a troll. Let's get rid of you. No, Harry will not lose everything because he doesn't need anything from the monarchy. No. He does not need anything from them. So no, the monarchy does not control anything from Harry. If they did, he wouldn't be as free as he is today. So no. Let's see. Lydia says she's a soft reporter. She is no Oprah or Gail. Yeah, hold on. I mean, morning television interviews, other than when they're just sort of being shady, because her and I think Savannah Guthrie, I always side-eye Hoda because they have done some, she has said some shady things, like I mentioned in the last episode, said some shady things about Meghan, or, indicate some shady things. So, the morning reporters, I mean, for me, they're like, oh, love us, America kind of thing. So they don't really go hard on anything. They're not as probing. But I mean, this interview, I appreciate it. And I even tweeted about it today. I like that. Normally I literally blocked this today on Twitter because I was so irritated about their shadiness. And so I went back just for this interview. I, bit my tongue and, held my nose. And I thought she did a good job. I mean, she again, there are questions that she could have probed deeper, but she didn't. And it's like, how could you miss that? Maybe talking too much and not listening as well as she should have in that moment. Which happens. I mean, it happens, I'm sure you notice how she's giggling. She's probably just so excited to be around Prince Harry or to talk to Prince Harry, because she said she had never met him before. So, but she could have gone deeper. Whether Harry would have answered, that's another question. But as a reporter, you ask the question and they have they can answer it or not. So, Lex says, how do some of these people justify themselves when I was growing up, I didn't say that I wanted to harass people on a constant basis. I know I will be a tabloid journalist. Not sure I understand to harass people on a constant basis. I wanted to be, I know I would be a tabloid journalist. Not sure I understand what you're saying. Maybe I'm just not getting it. But I'm assuming you're meaning like, tabloid journalism isn't something that you grew up wanting to be. So yeah. I just don't, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how, do you, when you do a resume for, say you want another job, do you, how you would feel about putting, say, the Daily Mail or the Sun on your resume. Like, ugh, I just couldn't imagine having that on my resume and going into somebody and expecting them, especially for a job as a journalist, and expecting them to look at me seriously if I have the Daily Mail, Sun, Mirror, and the Express on my resume. I don't think people, grow up wanting to be, and somehow they got into a space where they feel like harassing people is the way I want to live my life. And a lot of these people have children. Like, I don't even understand. What do you tell your children you do at night? So yeah. Mashar says, Hoda asked the questions like any reporter, but she was respectful about it. Her after comments about the interview, she remained respectful towards Harry. Absolutely. I actually loved her recap of the interview. It was because not only was she talking about the interview and, just her passion for the games. I mean, she had never been to the games before, and she talked about the athletes. Like, one of them even gave her tulips that she brought back with her because it was so special to her, because they made her feel loved. And so she really brought it home as as a reporter there, and just really recapping just how special the game. So I felt like she really captured how special the games were to the athletes, how special it were to the family, because she featured the athlete that was there with Prince Harry. They featured his family and his wife and his kids, and so she got to know them there. And then also the girl who produced the piece, she's a Black woman. I was like, yes. So I was like, I retweeted her and I was like, thank you. It was so good because, that's not necessarily a space that many Black, especially women, would be in. And so the interview was produced by a Black woman. And I was like, you go, so I thought they did, again, even though I've side-eyed Hoda in the past, I thought they did a really great job. And yeah, she was very respectful. Even when she was asking the probing questions about the Queen, etc., it was very probing. And again, she was very smart in the fact that through the relation, and she even said that she felt like she didn't know where to start with it, and the questions that may, where he might be like, okay, I want to end this interview. So she basically set about to be like, okay, I'm just gonna build a relationship and then ask the question in a way that and if he answers, he answers. But I thought she did a great job. And this is somebody who is not a Huda Kudbi fan. So yeah. So, but I haven't seen the other parts. Apparently there are other parts than what was shown this morning. So if she does something shady in those, especially about Meghan, I may reverse all of the things I just said and proceed to block her again. So I may just do that. But from what I've seen, they have, they did a great job. So last question, because it's 1:28. Harry was making sure that his focus was on the games and not on Charles and William. Exactly, Thierry. Exactly. And that is the thing. He wanted to make sure, again, Harry is not a fan of the press, especially, the British press and all of that. So he's not a fan of doing these interviews. But he wanted to promote the games. He wanted to make sure, and that's why they're doing the Netflix interview. They want to make sure that everyone knows about the stories of these brave men and women. And that's why he's like, also why, apart from, Charles and William being complete, I will not use this word. My mother is watching, and I don't use cuss words. I just remember I don't use cuss words. And then my mother is watching. So I don't want to say anything bad, but Harry wanted to make it about the Invictus Games and the athletes. Hi, Mom. So there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And I will see you over at Barron's. And yeah, and then later today, I will post the part about the royals of Shutter Island, and I will post that at some point later today, and you can watch it if you like. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Lydia, Church Nelly, thank you so much for being awesome moderators. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Oh, and Pamela would most likely be back tomorrow. For all of you that were asking, she'll most likely be back to do an episode tomorrow. So yeah, we'll have her back. Yeah, so fingers crossed all of that works out. So have a fantastic day, guys. Let's see, Elect Lady, C-Mag, Shody say, Thierry, let's see, Legs, Estrella, Barbara, Cookies and Cream, Dale, Anna, Angela, Simone, Joan, I think I said you earlier. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me, and all my other friends that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. Marina, Susie Q, of course, April May, Marilyn, Marjorie, and everyone else, Andrea. I will see you guys next time. Huge love to you, and I'll see you over at Barron's. Bye. And we'll just end this all with some music.